Ever felt like a fraud despite your achievements? Welcome, dear listener, to a journey of understanding a fascinating psychological phenomenon called impostor syndrome. This term might be new to some, but the feelings it describes are all too familiar for many. Impostor syndrome is a psychological pattern in which individuals doubt their accomplishments and live in constant fear of being exposed as a fraud. It's like being on a stage, under a spotlight, and feeling like you fooled everyone into believing you're the star. But deep down, you're convinced you're just an understudy who's forgotten their lines, and if you're thinking, wow, that's me, you're not alone. A significant percentage of the population, from students to seasoned professionals, grapple with these feelings of self-doubt and unworthiness. So, buckle up as we unravel the mystery of imposter syndrome. Get ready to face this invisible enemy and learn how to conquer it. We're in this journey together and it starts now. Now, how do you know if you're experiencing imposter syndrome? Well, let's dive into the common signs and symptoms that might indicate you're wrestling with this psychological phenomenon. Firstly, you might be dealing with persistent feelings of self-doubt. You're constantly questioning your abilities and achievements, regardless of the evidence that points to your competence. You might find yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, or I don't belong here. These thoughts can be pervasive and hard to shake off. Secondly, you may have a tendency to attribute your success to luck rather than your own skills or qualifications. You might find yourself saying, I just got lucky, or I was in the right place at the right time. This is a classic symptom of imposter syndrome, as it shows you're not giving yourself the credit you deserve. Next, there's the fear of failure. You might feel an intense pressure to succeed and an overwhelming fear of making mistakes. This could lead to excessive perfectionism, over-preparation, and procrastination. You might feel like if you don't succeed, it confirms your fear that you're an imposter. Another symptom is undermining your own achievements. You might downplay your accomplishments and deflect praise. You might say things like, it was nothing, or anyone could have done it. This shows a lack of self-confidence and a fear of being seen as boastful or arrogant. Finally, you may live in fear of being discovered as a fraud. You might think that it's only a matter of time before others find out that you're not as competent or knowledgeable as they think you are. This fear can be paralyzing and can hold you back from taking on new challenges or opportunities. So if you're constantly doubting your abilities, attributing your success to luck, fearing failure, undermining your achievements, and living in fear of being discovered as a fraud, you're likely dealing with imposter syndrome. Sound familiar? Then you might be grappling with imposter syndrome. Why do people experience imposter syndrome? This question is indeed the crux of our conversation today. To unravel this, let's delve into the various factors that may contribute to the development of imposter syndrome. First on our list is personality traits. Some individuals are naturally more prone to feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy. For instance, perfectionists who set excessively high standards for themselves often struggle with imposter syndrome. They are more likely to see any small mistake as a catastrophic failure, fostering a sense of being a fraud. Similarly, individuals with a strong need for validation may also find themselves wrestling with imposter syndrome, as they continuously seek external approval to affirm their worth. Next, we have family background. The environment in which a person grows up can significantly influence their perception of success and failure. Children raised in families where high achievement is expected or where comparisons are frequently made between siblings may grow up to doubt their abilities. They may feel that they need to maintain a facade of competence to be accepted or loved, sowing the seeds of imposter syndrome. Lastly, societal expectations cannot be overlooked. We live in a world that often equates success with inherent worth. This societal pressure can lead individuals to feel like imposters, especially if they believe they must attain a certain level of success to be considered valuable. Moreover, individuals from underrepresented groups may experience the so-called minority stress, feeling like an imposter because they don't fit the conventional image of success. So it's clear that imposter syndrome is not an isolated phenomenon. It's a complex interplay of personality traits, family dynamics, and societal pressures. It's not simply about doubting one's abilities, but rather a reflection of deeper, underlying issues. Understanding the causes can be a significant step towards overcoming imposter syndrome. Remember, awareness is the first step to change. In the next scene, we will explore the impact of imposter syndrome and how it can affect various aspects of one's life. Stay tuned. What happens when imposter syndrome goes unchecked? Well, it's like a silent saboteur, quietly undermining your confidence, relationships, and even your career trajectory. Impostor syndrome isn't just about feeling like a fraud. It's a mental health issue that can have serious repercussions if left unaddressed. One of the most insidious aspects of this syndrome is its impact on self-esteem. When you're constantly doubting your abilities, it's hard to maintain a positive view of yourself. This can spiral into feelings of worthlessness, making it even harder to shake the imposter belief. In the realm of relationships, imposter syndrome can wreak havoc too. It can lead to an unhealthy cycle of overcompensation where you feel the need to constantly prove yourself to others. On the flip side, you might also withdraw from social situations for fear of being found out. This can strain personal and professional relationships, creating a sense of isolation. Now let's talk about career progression. The workplace is often a breeding ground for imposter syndrome, particularly in high-pressure environments. You might find yourself shying away from new opportunities or promotions, fearing that you're not capable or that you'll be exposed as a fraud. Over time, this can seriously limit your career growth and potential. And let's not forget the physical toll. The constant stress and anxiety associated with feeling like an imposter can lead to burnout, sleep problems, and other health issues. In severe cases, it can even lead to depression. So it's clear to see imposter syndrome isn't something to be taken lightly. It's a complex issue that can permeate every aspect of your life, from your mental health to your relationships and career. But remember, acknowledging the problem is the first step towards overcoming it. The effects of imposter syndrome can be severe, but the good news is, it's not a life sentence. With the right tools and strategies, you can combat this invisible enemy and reclaim your confidence. Let's explore how in the next segment. How can you conquer the imposter within? This is the question that we're going to tackle in this part of our discussion. To start, it's crucial to acknowledge and understand your feelings. Imposter syndrome thrives on denial and fear. So take a moment to pause and recognize these feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy. Understand that they are not reflective of your true capabilities and worth. This acknowledgement is the first step towards overcoming imposter syndrome. Next, seek support. Whether it's a trusted friend, a mentor, or a professional counselor, having someone to talk to can make a world of difference. They can provide an outside perspective, reassurance, and practical advice. You're not alone in this battle, and there's no shame in seeking help. Focusing on your personal achievements is another helpful strategy. It's easy to overlook our accomplishments when we're caught up in feelings of self-doubt. So make it a habit to remind yourself of your past successes. Write them down, if you must. Each achievement, no matter how small, is a testament to your abilities and hard work. Finally, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Understand that everyone makes mistakes and experiences failures. They are not indicators of your worth, but rather opportunities for growth and learning. Replace self-criticism with self-compassion, and you'll find that the voice of the imposter within gets quieter. Overcoming imposter syndrome is not an overnight process. It takes time, patience, and continual self-awareness. But remember, you are more than capable, and you deserve to feel confident in your abilities. As we wrap up this section, let's take a moment to reflect on these strategies. Acknowledge your feelings, seek support, focus on your achievements, and practice self-compassion. Keep these in your toolkit as you navigate your journey. Remember, everyone experiences self-doubt at times, but don't let it define you. You are not an imposter. You are capable, talented, and deserving of every success that comes your way. In conclusion, imposter syndrome is a common experience for many. We've explored its definition, identifying it as a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and fear being exposed as a fraud. We've delved into its symptoms such as self-doubt, attributing success to luck, or discounting praise. We also discussed its causes, which can range from personality traits to certain environmental factors. We examined the impact of imposter syndrome, how it can hinder professional growth and personal happiness. But most importantly, we discussed strategies to overcome this syndrome. Embrace self-acceptance, seek support, focus on your strengths, and remember that everyone makes mistakes. The journey to overcoming imposter syndrome is not a swift one, it's a process. It's about changing the narrative in your head from, "I'm a fraud," to, "I'm learning and growing." So the next time you doubt your achievements, remember, you're not alone, you're not a fraud, you're simply human.